I think John Wick 4 is now a big tentpole epic film that has huge sets and vistas, and every decision we make on this film is the dream of sitting in a theater and watching it on a big screen. And I think that, we could put aside what's going to happen with, just where we are going to be as a society in terms of communal experiences and stuff. I desperately miss the movies. And I miss all kinds of movies, but I definitely miss that movie that you wait in line for, you get your popcorn, the theater's packed, you feel the energy, and then it's literally as soon as a character comes on the screen, people clap because they're just happy to see that character again. That's John Wick 4. On the first film from the fourth film, when audiences watch the action, they laugh. And they're not laughing because they're laughing at it. It's just like they're laughing because it's a ride. It's a thrill. And that, to me, is why I think people want to go back to the movies, to get that collective thrill. And that's what we're going for. It all starts with Keanu. I think people love the first John Wick movie, but one of the reasons why I think it had such an impact was it was kind of a reintroduction. It was a reminder to the audience of why Keanu was such a great movie star and a great action star. And people fell in love with him again, a whole new generation did. And it also coincided with all these, Keanu's a great guy, memes and stories. It was all true. He's one of the all-time good dudes. And so people were like rooting for Keanu, and they were rooting for John Wick because he was such an underdog character. And so I think really the entry point into the franchise is Keanu, and then the John Wick character. It's crazy to see because, when we hired Chad and Dave, they were really well-established second unit guys and stunt coordinators. Nobody from that world got shots over the course of the decades. I mean, there were exceptions here or there, but most of the time you saw writers make the transition, or DPs, or even some editors, but you never saw that from that world. And their command of what the movie should be and how they presented it, and the fact that Keanu, right off the bat, just trusted him so much was why we hired him in the first place. But what I've seen from Chad over the years is he's gotten his confidence up. He's realizing that he's evolved from, oh wow, that's the ex-second unit guy, stunt double of Keanu Reeves from The Matrix, to arguably, I think, the best action director in Hollywood in the last 15, 20 years. Hiro is one of Keanu's favorite actors. Now, Hiro is, the Japanese Clint Eastwood. There are certain actors where it's just their delivery and their face. They just carry weight. They carry wisdom. They carry integrity. They take up a lot of the screen just because of their presence. And that's Hiro. And there are scenes in this film with Hiro that are as cool as any action we've had in any of the John Wick movies. And there's a scene where he's in the kitchen and they just like hand him a gun and hand him a sword. And he goes, let's go. And I'm like, this is awesome. This is John Wick. Samurai sword in one hand, gun in the other, with a bunch of sumo wrestlers about to fight Donnie Yen. I'm like, come on, I'm in heaven. And so, and that's the other thing too, we wanted a Japanese actor that can go toe-to-toe with Donnie. What we love about Bill is, again, we were talking about that a lot of our villains, or a lot of our characters, are on the older side. There are ones that have gone through and grizzled veterans. And we made a conscious decision to bring some youth in, not because we were trying to play to the audience, but just to see the contrast between the old guns and the new guns. And for the Marquis, who we needed to be one of the most loathsome characters in all four movies, someone to be hated so much, we wanted to go with youthful punk. And we wanted also to go with that great face that is able to express kind of a fake, again, formalism that we have, and a politeness. And the contrast he has with Ian McShane and with Lance Reddick, you're just gonna hate him. And we wanted that kind of, bad guys could look like Michael Nyqvist, just beat up and bad guys could look, like, a 6'5" bruiser, or bad guys could look like Bill's character, the Marquis, who are clean cut and were mannered, classy, but in some ways, those are the ones you hate the most. Before COVID, you would sit down and meet 10 actors or actresses and get a sense and a vibe. And now a lot of the stuff is not only on Zoom, but it's like sometimes from another country. And so, we saw a bunch of these audition tapes to play for Akira, and Rena's was great. But it was one of those classic moments where as soon as the camera was on her and she was in her wardrobe and she was in a scene with Hiro and she kind of incorporated the world into who she was, the John Wick world, because it's not easy for a lot of people to show up there. They're like, what the hell is this? And watching the footage with her, I was like, oh my God, she's incredible. You can't take your eyes off her. I knew her as a singer. I knew her as an interesting look. I knew her as a promising actress, but she holds the screen in a big way. And my gut is we'll be seeing more of her character in other films. On an action side, Donnie, I remember the first action set piece I saw on dailies. He punched so fast that I called Chad and I'm like, how do you speed up the dailies? He goes, what are you talking about? That's just his natural speed. I've never seen anything like it. Performance in film isn't just like, great dialogue and words and facial. Performance is a physicality too. And I don't think I've ever seen a more gifted physical performer on a film that I made than Donnie. And you really don't understand just how good he is until you've seen the dailies and you see how those scenes and these action scenes are placed together and are built, and he does everything, and it's him to such great detail and such great ferocity. He is a genius when it comes to fighting.